Welcome back. This is the second lesson recording for IM1 on October 6, 2020. We've just finished taking some notes on slope. So then the class, we watched this video on slope dude. It was 2-minute video and the link is in Canvas under lesson resources. Please watch this, and after you're done, you should be taking these notes. Okay, this is from the recording. So when slope is 0, it's flat. When slope is positive, it's puff positive. When slope is negative, this is where he is saying nice negative. And slope is 0, this is where he's saying this is 0 fun. And this is where the slope dude is saying undefined. I know the video is very corny, but hopefully, because it is so corny, hopefully it's going to help you to remember. Okay, then we went on to talking about different graphs and the situation. So let's recall the tile growth. If the tile growth is the tile pattern is growing by 2 tiles, which graph would be representing the situation? Okay, so again, the tile pattern is growing. That means the output, the y-axis output is increasing as the input, the tile pattern, the figure number increases. So would you expect it to be A or would you expect it to be B? Well, the correct answer is B, because the slope is positive here. It's increasing. That's what the increasing slope means, that the output is increasing, as opposed to slope here is negative and it's decreasing. Okay, what about this? Which graph represents a tile pattern that decreases by 0.5 tiles each figure? So pause the video and see if you can figure out. Okay, so now this time we are decreasing by 0.5 tiles. That means we want the output, the y-axis, y value, to be going down as the x value increases. Okay, so it is indeed graph B, where slope is negative 0.5. So when the output is decreasing, it's going to be sloping downwards. What about this? Okay, one of the graph is the tile pattern that grows by 2 tiles, the other is by 3 tiles. They're both growing, that's why they're both positive, but one is growing by 2, one is growing by 3. Remember, if the slope is bigger in number, it's going to be more vertical. Okay, so if we are looking for a slope or the growth by 3, a bigger number, then we would expect it to be more vertical or steeper, and that's going to be the graph A. What about this situation? One of the graph of the tile pattern is decreased by 1 tile, the other is decreased by 0.5, which represents decrease by 1 tile. Again, 1 and 0.5. We are looking for a bigger slope. Okay, we're looking for a bigger slope, the bigger number of slope. That means bigger number of slope means it's more vertical. Which is more vertical between the two? That means it's slope, graph B. Okay, now we're going to take some notes on y-intercept. What is a y-intercept? Y-intercept is the intersection point of a graph and the y-axis, and the point's x value is always going to be 0, and therefore that means the corner of the y-intercept is always going to be 0, some number in parentheses. And also the y-intercept tells us the starting value in a situation. So in the tile growth, the tile pattern scenario, the starting value or the y-intercept was number of tiles on figure 0. Okay, so I want you to pause the video and take this note down, because it says take notes. And then we're going to go to the next one. Okay, answer in private chat. Which red dot is on a y-intercept? Is this a y-intercept? Is this a y-intercept? Or is this a y-intercept? Okay, the correct answer is A, Correct answer is A. Why? Because remember, the y-axis is this line. This is my y-axis. I'm sorry that I can't draw my lines very well. This is my y-axis. And remember, the definition of y-intercept is where the graph is crossing the y-axis. And the graph is this line. This is my graph. That means y-intercept means where the red line and the blue line intersects. And where is that? It's this point right here. And it's this point right here. And it's this point right here. Those three are the y-intercept, and the red dot was on A. So the correct answer is A. Okay, this time you're going to tell me the coordinate of the y-intercept. I hope now you see that this red dot represents the y-intercept because the graph, the blue line, is intersecting or crossing the y-axis. This is my y-axis. So what is the coordinate of this red dot? Okay, please pause the video and see if you can figure it out. Okay, so it's 0, 2. Okay, remember when you are dealing with coordinate, you always write in terms of some number separated by a comma and another number, and you also need to have a parenthesis. Okay, and the first number represents the x value, and the second number represents the y value. And the x value is the horizontal position, y value is the vertical position. It's the up and down position, x is the horizontal position. So if I go to the x-axis, where is this point here? It is on 0. On the x-axis, this is on 0. Okay? That's why it is 0 for the x value. And for the y-axis, for the y value, we look at the y-axis. Where is this graph? It's actually on the y-axis. It's on positive 2. So that's why it's 0, 2. Okay. Now I want you to know some of the students were giving me this 0, 2. If you give me 0, 2, that is incorrect. Why? Because it's missing the parenthesis. Okay. So math is like learning a new language. The way you represent coordinate is with a parenthesis separated by some number, comma, and a number. This tells me, the parenthesis tells me the first value is the x coordinate, the second value is the y coordinate. If you just give me these two numbers without the parenthesis, you're just giving me two numbers. I don't know that the first number is x coordinate, the second number is y coordinate. So make sure that when you're communicating coordinates, you're giving me the answer in parenthesis. Okay? Alright, so, and I know that when we're dealing with y-intercept, the first number is always going to be 0. Okay, so the first number is always going to be 0. Okay, let's keep going. Alright, so now here I want you to tell me which graph represents a tau pattern with a starting value of 3. Okay, so that means I'm asking you which graph has the y-intercept, because remember starting value is same as the y-intercept. Which graph has the y-intercept of 3 and which is it? So let's just point out the y-intercept. Where is this? Y-intercept is here. Where is the y-intercept? In this case, y-intercept is here and y-intercept is here. Those three are the y-intercepts of the three different graphs. So of this, which has the starting value of positive 3 will be this. Okay, and so the correct answer is A. Okay, all right, then calculating slope. Okay, how do we calculate slope? Well, before starting, look at the graph so you know what slope value to expect. When you see this sloping downwards, is this puff positive or it's a nice negative? Is it going to be a positive slope or is it going to be a negative slope? hope you're telling me it's going to be a negative slope, because this is where the slope dude is coming down and enjoying himself, and he's saying nice negative. So this is a negative slope. And then from here, you should be able to figure out the slope. So I am going to sort of give you all the steps. So you are going to start with mark 2 points on the graph which intersects with grid. And then draw a slope triangle, select 1 point as source, and measure the run and rise as you walk through the slope triangle, and down is negative and left is also negative. So let me demonstrate what that means. So mark 2 points on the graph which intersects with grid. Okay, so if I was to choose 2 points, I need to be going along the graph. Okay, I am not going to choose this point here because it's not going through the grid exactly. This point is not going through the grid exactly. Whereas this one, it is going through the grid exactly. Okay, so this is a good one. This point is no good. This is no good. And this is another good one. Why? Because the point graph intersects the grid exactly. So these two are good ones, and so will be this one, and so will be this one, because they are going through the grid exactly. Now then it says to draw the slope triangle. Draw the slope triangle. So I can draw my slope triangle like so. I'm choosing this point here and this point here. Okay, and select 1 point as source. So I am going to choose this as the source, and I am going to end up here. This is my end point. Okay, so that means to get from the source to the end, I need to go downwards, and then I'm going to go to the right. Okay, how far am I going down? I am going down by 2. But remember, when you're going down, the right, this is, we're talking about rise. We're not rising, we're actually unrising, we're going downwards. So we say this is negative. Just the same way, if I am dealing with the y-axis, this is the vertical, okay, the rise is the vertical distance. If I am going downwards, look what's happening to the numbers. Now numbers are becoming more negative. So that is the reason it is negative 2. Okay, so and then the run on the other hand is going to the right. Going to the right is positive. Going to the left is negative, because just like the number line, as you go to the left, the numbers are getting smaller or it's becoming negative. So but the arrow is pointing to the right, so it's going to be positive. By 1, 2, 3, it's positive 3. So I know that this is my rise, and this is my run. And I know that slope is always rise over run. So, whoops. So that means that rise, we said, was negative 2. And run, we said, was positive 3. So the slope is negative 2 over 3. That's my slope. Okay? Alright, then let's focus on slope. There are many different ways of drawing slope triangles. Okay? What if I picked 2 different triangles? On the previous slide, I picked these 2 triangles, this point and this point. What if I picked this point here and this point here? Well, if I pick that, then my slope triangle will be still going down, so it will be negative 4 here, and then to the right by positive 6, because when I count positive 6, it's still going down, so it's negative 4, and so the slope is going to be rise, negative 4, divided by over run is positive 6, which is still simplifies to negative 2 over 3. Remember the equivalent fractions. Okay? Okay, what if my 2 points, with my 2 points I have 2 different slope triangles I can create. So it doesn't matter. If I drew a slope triangle going below or above, does it matter? Well, the numbers are still the same. it's going to be to the right, run is 6 over and negative 4 for the rise, and so it's exactly the same.